What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So there's always this chatter online talking about who's an industry plant. People say Kendrick's a plant. People say Drake's a plant. This person's a plant. That person's an industry plant. Who is an industry plant? What is an industry plant? And how this relates to someone like Ice Spice. So in this video, we're going to be reacting to the downfall of Ice Spice, whom many consider and considered to be an industry plant. But having said that, now let's get into this video and just keep that in mind as we go through this video.
As soon as Ice Spice stepped onto the music scene, she instantly became known as the Bronx baddie who made it big with viral hits and nonchalance. But just a few years later, something strange happened. One day, she was the face of Dunkin' Donuts. The next day, she was being mocked, ridiculed, and tossed to the curb like a bag of trash. Well, bam! So what happened to the girl who was everywhere? Did she burn too bright, too fast? Or was she always designed to disappear? Growing up in the Bronx, New York, Isis Gaston has always had a love for hip-hop. And the moment she was introduced to Nicki Minaj's music, she knew what she wanted to do with her life. Her passion for music remained while she attended college in New York. Although she dropped out during her sophomore year, she made an important connection with a producer named Riot USA. Not only did they make music together, but some believe Ice Spice and Riot were also doing the horizontal tango. That sounds fun as hell. Riot created an instrumental for a song called Big Freestyle, which was released on SoundCloud in March 2021. The song took off after Ice Spice went viral for participating in the internet's Bust It Challenge. From there, she released more songs all throughout 2021, none of which made a dent on the charts, up until August 2022, when she released the song Munch, Feeling You, which Pitchfork described as one of the top New York drill songs of the summer. Munch peaked at number 34 on the Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart, and the single was certified gold. The music video has now reached 65 million views, thanks to images of Ice Spice shaking her vanilla cheeks to the infectious beat. While
I know sex sells and women going to use their sexuality, especially in music, but it goes a long way when you think of artists like Nicki Minaj, hell, Lil Kim, you could even say Cardi B, right? When they do use their sexuality and all of that, but they actually got some content and they actually have things to say in their raps. You know what I'm saying? When you think about Ice Spice, it's like you got the sexuality, but without that, would people still want to hear what you got to say on the track? That would not be the case. No one wants to really listen to that. But you make her look good, put a nice beat on it. You know what I mean? And you can sell some records. All you gotta do is just sell some records. And when it run out, it run out. But I don't think people like her are made to have longevity, right? When these producers find people like her, I don't think that they're thinking like longevity. I think they're just thinking like, let's dollar up, make her look good and run it up until it stops. Not like you would think with a Nicki Minaj or somebody like that, right? Where it's like, okay, yeah, this is not just a superstar, but she gonna have some longevity in the game.
Ice Spice was flying high, some thought she was feeling herself a bit too much. In September 2022, reports surfaced that her booking fees had gone from $4,000 a show to a whopping $15,000. No matter how popular Munch was anybody really gonna pay that much to see Curly Sue? Not Curly Sue.
Curly Sue.
You are something else. A promoter alleged that Ice Spice was pulling out of shows booked at the old price since she thought she deserved a whole new bag. Ice Spice responded on social media, calling cap on the situation. However, she raised eyebrows when she posted, "Yesterday's price, not today's price."
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Social media users weren't that supportive and said she didn't deserve that much money for her bad music. They also criticized her stage presence, calling her performances lazy and unmemorable. Despite the backlash, Ice Spice continued to thrive. 1 month after Munch was released, she signed the deal of a lifetime with 10K Projects and Capitol Records. The CEO of the label said she knew Ice Spice was a global superstar in the making. They believed in her so much that she got a sweetheart of a deal where she owned her own publishing and masters.
Oh, is that right? Meanwhile, we have veterans in the gang fighting for the publishing and masters.
She owned her publishers and masters. Is that true? I don't know. I didn't look into that, but if it is, that's probably because that shit corny. Nobody want to hear that shit. Her content is not going to be worth much. It's probably why they did it, bro. Why else would you do that? That's crazy though. I didn't know she had her publishing and masters.
Her single Bikini Bottom came out that October, and at the beginning of 2023, her debut EP called Like was released. It debuted in the top 10 of Billboard's top rap albums. The hits just kept on coming. Her single Gangsta Boo entered the Hot 100, her first song to do so, and In Her Mood peaked at number 58 on the Hot 100. That February, her song with Pink Pantheress, Boy's a Liar Part 2, reached number 3 on the Hot 100. And then, in April of that year, Nicki Minaj joined Ice Spice on Princess Diana, which debuted at number 4 on the Hot 100. The two raptresses joined forces again for Barbie World in June 2023, and it peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. Ice Spice's fans were so enthralled with her that they gave her a new nickname. Ice Spice said, "I saw all of my supporters being like, she's the people's princess. She's Princess Diana."
Girl, if you don't shut the hell up.
But plenty of people weren't sold on her star power. With her rapid rise to fame and some deeming her not so talented, many began questioning, was Ice Spice a genuine artist or an industry plant? In case you're unaware, an industry plant is an artist who appears to rise organically, but is actually heavily backed by a label or powerful insiders from the start, with connections, money, and marketing all quietly working behind the scenes. They're often packaged to feel relatable or authentic, even though their come-up was anything but. Ice Spice has been accused of...
Yeah, I mean, but you got to market your product too, right? Well, let's listen to what Yachty's idea of an industry plan is.
Yeah, an industry plan is basically so crazy because you don't really, like, you have them, but like they don't really succeed like back in the day. Like, but it's basically just like a artist that was made in house, and it's put in position with other artists to kind of blend in.
Block their blessings.
Well, not even block, but just kind of to blend in and kind of like skip the line.
Okay.
You know, like you kind of like if Def Jam found an artist and they felt potential and they just kind of stuck them next to Future, you know, and like kind of tried to like, how the hell you get a song with Future? Like how to, you know, or anybody, don't gotta be Future. Right. Anybody, I'm not saying like Future, but just like anyone. That's kind of like what an industry plan is. Just someone that is moving at the speed of light, and it doesn't make sense how they're growing so fast. You know, but now it's just the way social media works. People can really overnight and explode, you know, and it had nothing to do with it.
All right. So I mean that makes sense. But yeah, just because somebody's being marketed and put out there doesn't mean they're a plant. As far as like, I don't want to say, I feel like when you say industry plant though, I feel like you're putting somebody there to fool people as far and to get them to do something, not necessarily just putting somebody there, creating an image to sell records. I don't know. That's kind of just my idea. Maybe I'm seeing it the wrong way. I mean, but Ice Spice, she was just a cute girl they saw. They picked her up. They polished her off. You know what I'm saying? Polished her up and gave her a couple songs to put out there, and it worked for a while. And now it ain't. So and they ran it up as long as they could.
Being an industry plant due to her sudden popularity, the polished rollout of her image and music, and despite limited experience, her early endorsements from notable people in the industry. Critics argue that her sudden rise felt manufactured and that her viral success was engineered, not earned. Some also speculated that the industry pushed Ice Spice because she fit the mold, being light-skinned, curvy, and marketable. Critics argued that more deserving female rappers were being overlooked while she was fast-tracked as the next rap superstar.
I'm not surprised or even upset by Ice Spice's response to the conversation surrounding her success and colorism, but I can say it's a very just typical light-skinned response. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Ice Spice. I think she's incredibly talented. And I do think it's a bit of a disservice to say that all of her success is due to the fact that she's light skinned. But a lot of it is because her music, fire. But keep in mind, she got invited to the Met this year. That is top tier level status in the span of a year. And this kind of success just doesn't happen to darker skinned rappers. I mean, she does have some light skin privileges going on. And instead of using her platform to talk about how colorism is harmful to the Black community or hype up darker skin artists in her field, she just says that she tries to ignore the negativity as if she's being hated on. And yes, some of it is definitely real legitimate hate, but overall, the colorism conversation is one a lot of light skinned people try to avoid having by chalking it all up to hate and negativity and then just deflecting, which does everyone, but especially darker skinned people, a huge disservice.
Yeah, for sure. And it is the mold. And that's what I think that's one of the reasons that people criticize Doechii is, she's dark skinned. She doesn't fit the mold. But the fact of the matter is she's light years ahead of Ice Spice when it comes to talent. You know what I'm saying? And so if she's really talented, which I think she is, she should have that longevity that Ice Spice can't have, because eventually the luster wears off, right?
Variety that at first she was initially bothered by the rumors, but she got over it. She added, "People be trying to act like I'm dumb, and I'm just like, I'm a marketing fucking genius."
Yeah, okay.
Just when you thought Ice Spice couldn't get any bigger, in May 2023, she was included on the remix of Taylor Swift's hit song, Karma. The internet was in shambles, and the song received a lot of hate. Fans complained that Ice Spice downgraded the song and wondered why she was even included. Those industry plant rumblings grew louder and louder. However, the song peaked at number 2 on the Hot 100. Taylor and Ice Spice were unbothered, and the two are now besties. In January 2024, she released the thought-provoking single, Thank You the Fart. In case you're unaware, the song goes a little something like this. Me. Thank you to you not even the fart. I be going hard. I'm breaking their hearts.
I know you lying. Girl, you got to be lying. Is this for real?
Many believe
Can you believe that was a song?
the song was disrespectful to a genre built on wordplay, storytelling, and lyrical excellence. Hip-hop came from pain, protest, poetry, and precision. But what we're now witnessing is a mockery, where viral nonsense gets greenlit while real artists struggle to be heard. Releasing songs like this is a direct slap in the face to legends who honed their craft, studied the music, and bled for the culture. Perhaps it's time to start gatekeeping our music.
Yeah, it should have been start gatekeeping it, but the thing is, the corporations already got a hold of it. The record labels, they're going to push what they want to push. At the end of the day, that's the one good thing about social media now, right? Is if the labels don't want to get on board, you can get a buzz. But the fact of the matter is too, if how you going to distribute, it takes money. It takes money to market and do all of that stuff, right? So you only can do so much, but you can still build a buzz, build a name for yourself way more than you could back in the day. Back in the day, the record labels had pretty much all the control, right? Pretty much, not all of it, because you still had people like Master P and them who started from the bottom and grinded their way up. But for the most part, that shit was still hard. Most people wasn't doing it that way. Now you can do it a little bit more with social media. But still, man, it's like that's what they want to push. But I think it's changing though. You know what I'm saying? I think it's changing, and they won't have it because it's all about what the consumer want to take in, right? What they want to listen to. But if people's ear now has been weaned off of that bullshit, for the most part, people still gonna want to hear that type of shit. But for the most part, have been weaned off it, they're going to demand something better, a better product. And so the labels and all of them people, they won't have a choice but to start to go back out and look for those artists who actually have some damn talent and start and put money behind them. There's nothing wrong with putting money behind the artist. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think just because the label puts money behind an artist that they're a plant. It's when they make some artist into something that they're not, and they sell that image knowing damn well everything about it is a sham. You know what I'm saying?
Because if we let the floodgates stay open for anything with a beat and a bubble butt, we'll have nothing left worth respecting.
A beat and a bubble butt.
The same month that the fart song was released, an artist named D. Chambers took Ice Spice and Riot to court, claiming her song In Her Mood was a ripoff of his 2022 song In That Mood. Although Ice Spice and D. Chambers reached a settlement in 2024, the copyright infringement lawsuit cast a shadow over the early days of her breakout, and the damage had already been done. That July, Ice Spice's debut album called Y2K was finally released. It peaked at number 18 on the Billboard 200. The album received mixed reviews, with fans and critics complaining of its short length, repetitiveness, and lack of songwriting skills. The Standard called the album underbaked, and NPR said Ice Spice's creativity had stalled.
I remember when that album came out, people was grinding her ass up. I ain't even gonna lie. Every review and all that I watched, it wasn't too much good going to be said about that project.
Ice Spice responds to her debut album Y2K flopping. So you had Ice Spice responding to this debut album basically not doing very well. Boy, you went triple plastic, right? But Ice Spice responded and basically thanked her fans or whatever. She thanked the Lord. 20,000 people that bought it the first week, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Ice Spice gets 1 million to 2-3 million likes a Instagram post, but only 20K people go out to support your album the first week. But Ice Spice basically thanked her fans and then proceeded to brag about the crowd at her last show or something, right? She was like, did y'all see that crowd out Boston, though? Well, you got that crowd out Boston. Get that crowd out Boston to buy your album, because that's where the label make their money, right? They sign you so you can sell records. They don't sign you for crowds out Boston.
Continuing to bank on her success, the Y2K World Tour kicked off in July 2024, with shows across North America and Europe. While Ice Spice was riding high, she was also getting brought back down to earth. Her undeserved diva behavior began to rear its ugly head. Her ex-bestie, Baby Storm, leaked text messages in which Ice Spice called Nicki Minaj ungrateful and delusional. Ice Spice also accused Nicki of trying to snake extra profits from their Barbie World collab. Fighting with the queen of rap is probably not a good idea, but Ice Spice wasn't done making a bad name.
See, she let it go to her head. She started smelling herself. You know what I'm saying? And why would you think Nicki needs you? Why would you think that Nicki Minaj? Look, Nicki going through some stuff right now. she having a hard time in the media right now, but still, as an artist, like Nicki Minaj don't need you, never needed you. She did you a favor by even collabing with you. So it's crazy how people like her let that shit go to their head and start thinking it's them. No, it ain't you. It's the people around you that made you into what you are. You ain't got nowhere near the skill of Nicki Minaj. You could never do that shit on your own, just by your rapping ability.
For herself. She was also accused of being a homewrecker. Say what now? According to The Cut, British influencer Madeline Argy alleged that her rapper boyfriend, Central C, had cheated on her with Ice Spice. She claimed the two even made a cheating anthem called Did It First.
Thinking that this conversation is going to be our love, our relationships with Tommy White. 10 hours later, he's posted up with Patty. Imagine you break up with your boyfriend one night and the next day he is posted with Ice Spice and Chrome Hearts. Even actually get to break up with him, he's already with the next girl.
But this was the least of Ice Spice's worries. According to reports, the People's Princess showed up almost 30 minutes late to a New Year's Eve gig in Australia on December 31st, 2024. Even though she was the headline act at the festival, Ice Spice didn't feel the need to be on time. Once she started performing, the venue cut her off 5 minutes later so that the next artist could take the stage. The audience wasn't feeling any of this and booed as she walked up and down the stage, seeming oblivious. Eventually, she flashed a peace sign and hightailed it out of there. Fans began calling her entitled, disrespectful, and an embarrassment. Days later, she took to social media to explain, "I'm sorry, guys. Surely y'all can forgive me. It was my birthday. And it takes a long time to look like a Barbie.
Yo, man. Sometimes you just gotta ask yourself, well, we living in real life, man. Or some of these people even living in real life. It takes a long time to look like a Barbie.
Since 2025, Ice Spice has released only one song, Hannah Montana, featuring Cleotrapa and DaBaby. As of this video, the song has yet to make it on the charts. At the end of the day
gotta end.
Yeah, that too. But what I was about to say, Auntie Regina, is that at the end of the day, you need more than a slim waist and a fatty to hold the public's attention. The internet might hand you a moment, but it takes real talent and real prep to build a legacy. Ice Spice had the world's attention, but attention without development is a fast track to irrelevance. It's time we stop treating artists like fast fashion. Labels need to stop chasing trends and start investing in longevity. Because once the hype dies down and the TikToks stop trending, all that's left is the music. And if that ain't hitting, then neither is the career.
Sometimes people fall off and you don't even know why. But in Ice Spice case, the entire planet understands exactly why. Sit down, sit down, sit down. Let me tell you the story of Ice Spice and the great fall off. Ice Spice was an anomaly, an artist that genuinely nobody really enjoyed the music of, who had a cult following because of her assets. But things start tumbling out of control for Ice Spice. Starting off when she got caught by one of her closest friends, supposedly, saying some crazy stuff about how Nicki Minaj is desperate even though you needed her help. The Barbs did not like that at all. Then she dropped the track Fart, which was actually a diss towards rapper Lotto. Golly, boy. Anyway, then she get in even more trouble when she keep playing around with Mr. Ben for Ben, Central C himself. He got a girlfriend, her name is Madeline, and she is not her. At this point, Ice Spice got so many things making her unpopular, you would think she was trying to be hated. But then it happens. She drops her long-awaited album Y2K, and it sold 20K first week. And that's kind of being generous. Ice Spice, what are you doing? You need to go back to rapping like K-Flock. Just when you think it couldn't get any worse, she arrives 20 minutes late to her 30-minute set, and they cut off her microphone after 2 songs. At this point, I think it's safe to say, Ice Spice has officially fallen off. We shouldn't even be asking ourselves why she fell off. Cause let's be real, we know. We need to ask, why was she ever on? Because with so many different women artists out there right now that are crushing it, they make this girl seem like she was a fever dream.
Hey, man. I mean, look, I don't hate on nobody for getting their money. Get your money. Sometimes you just got to get in and out. I always say, man, one hit wonders. If they play their cards right, that's all you need. That's all you need. If you play your cards right, all you need is one. Shit, I wish I could come up with one. You know what I'm saying? If you could sell songs talking about farts and shit, it's crazy. But I was thinking the other day, too. I said, damn. Remember that era where we was going through like the one hit wonder, but they was coming with bangers and shit like club songs, and it still had some kind of content to it, right? But it was like clubs, the dance era, right? It was some new dances, one hit wonders. Now most of them fumbled the bag, but it was still good music though. It was still good music. We haven't had a time like that in a while. You know, I feel like we went through the dark ages. To the dark ages, man. Drill cast the shadow over everything. Every other day there was talk on the news about so-and-so rapper getting killed, and you know, you got the Ice Spices. It's going to be interesting to see how things continue to evolve from here. And if we can get back to some semblance of normalcy, you know what I mean, and good music and good artists being pushed. Hell, I was thinking the other day too about the R&B era. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, can we get back to that shit? Like pushing those type of artists though. Like, I know there's R&B artists, but they don't push that shit like they used to, man. They really don't. I mean, go look for some good R&B singers and put some money behind that type of shit, man. I want us to get back to the golden ages, man. Fuck that. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. Do you think that anytime soon there will be another Ice Spice, or do you think that we're going to kind of at least be able to get back to some golden age era of good music, good artists? And I ain't talking about that the labels can't market and, you know, do all of that. That's fine. But do you think we'll get back to that, or do you think we'll just have to keep dealing with the Ice Spices of the world for the coming, in the coming future? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll check you out in the next one.